Hi, Liam. How are you?
Okay, thanks.
Good stuff. No, I suppose the big question is how are the players feeling ahead of this one? It's a massive game for you, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a really good uplift in the atmosphere. The boys are buzzing around, skipping around, training, and showing what they're sort of made of. And the group obviously has been rewarded by being sort of put back into the competition. So we know that we don't want to take it for granted, but obviously for us it's a massive game, and Premiership team coming out the hat big for any team. But for us it's the levels that's between us is big. So we're looking to go and show ourselves, like I said, in the best way possible.
The Eastleigh game getting cancelled, does that help or hinder? Would you rather have had a little bit of match rhythm going into this one, or was it a case of, let's not take any risks, quite pleased that it didn't go ahead?
No, I mean, obviously the draw was made early enough that we could look forward to it, but at the same time, between that game, there was a lot of league action, important league action. Obviously, we as a club and I've got targets to get out of the league we're in now, so that was at the forefront of our thoughts. So if the Eastleigh game would have been on, it would have been great. We would have liked to have got it, because any games called off are obviously going to be a backlog, in future dates. But the fact that now we've had a few days off in terms of not playing matches, and we've been able to go on the training ground and really sort of rehearse our scripts and our structure for the game that's coming up has been really important for the lads, just for clarity of the job, the role that they're going to play.
Just finally from me, you've obviously had two pretty high-profile games so far in Rochdale, and then a tie against Yeovil. Have you still got something up your sleeve, something that might surprise West Ham?
No, I mean we've had a rebuild over the summer, on and off the field. It's been massive, big changes, and the clubs have already sought rewards for that. But it's going to be a long season. We know that. And the cup run has been, like you said, we thought we could have been out on penalties, and that sort of rejuvenated us, and we've pushed on in the two results, especially the Rochdale one. It was a fantastic performance to be on the front foot first and foremost, and then to defend the way we did. So I mean, we've got a structure and a way of playing that will hopefully cause West Ham problems, and we'll stick to that. And like I said, we'll go out there and show our best. We're on the telly again, so it's another really important for the club, not just the players that are going to be on the pitch, for the staff and everybody that sort of worked to get us to where we are at the minute.
Thanks, Liam. I really appreciate that, mate.
Ian Abrahams, TalkSport.
Hi, Liam. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
I would normally start by asking, this is the biggest game of your career, but you played at Wembley, so I guess not.
In terms of opposition, obviously there's no disrespect to the competitions that I've been in, but obviously first time against the Premier League side is really exciting for even someone like myself. And like I said, the boys are buzzing, so it's a good chance for us to go and show again live on the telly, what this club's doing at the minute and where we're looking to go.
Everyone loves an FA Cup shock. Everybody likes to support a non-league side, especially when they're taking on a team from the Premier League. So I guess this weekend, the goodwill that Marine will have had against Spurs and that you will have against West Ham will count for quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, when even I watched, the FA Cup, you always look for the shocks, as well as obviously your club that you support. But in terms of the difference in the leagues, yeah, there's a massive standard and a lot of leagues and a lot of places between us. But when we go out on the pitch, like I said, we've got a structure that we're going to follow, that the club follows, and there's 11 lads that are going to start the game that are hopefully going to carry that out. As I've mentioned, we've got the staff behind us, and we've got the players who come off the bench and in the squad that will make changes and hopefully cause West Ham some problems. We know it's going to be tough, but it's a chance for us to go and express ourselves.
Down the years, West Ham has slipped up badly in cup competitions and been the subject of shocks. I remember Newport, well before your time, in the 1970s. More latterly, Frank Lampard made his debut and West Ham were beaten by non-league Wrexham, and the list goes on. Realistically, do you need to be at your best and they need to be underperforming to win, or how else can you win this game?
Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't want to put it down to luck, if that's sort of the word that you can say. We want to, like I say, put what we've been doing over this course of the season already, putting that into practice when we get out there, and And like you say, work the structure that we've done with the formation. We've worked a different formations, so we can ask West Ham lots of different questions. But at the same time, obviously they're in the Premier League standard for a reason, so it will take the lads full concentration for the full match, and it'll be important that over the next couple of days that we've still got training and the day before the game, that we recover right and make sure we go into that really fresh and really full of energy, that we can sort of ask a lot of questions and trouble the Premier League side.
Finally, we're all privileged in these times that football is continuing. You to play the game, the likes of me to be able to come and report on the games. But normally, Edgeley Park will be packed out for this. There'll be people hanging off of lampposts and trees trying to get a vantage point. It will probably be a very hostile place for West Ham to go. The fact that there's no one there, A, does that nullify that hostile atmosphere, obviously? And B, how much of a sadness is that to everyone at the club that one of their really big days in their recent history in the FA Cup is going to be seen by basically about 200 journalists and footballers at the club?
Yeah, I mean, as football being our job and to still continue to work to come in every day is a massive blessing, and we don't overlook that at any point. And obviously, I came in last season towards the back end and really felt the support and the togetherness that this Stockport has, and I think it would be a massive loss for us. And it's just a shame that obviously there was looking like there might be a little bit of light where there could have been a few fans on the horizon, but it's not to be. But obviously what we can do as a club is show ourselves, like you say, in the best possible way that we can, and represent the town the best way that we can. And that's what we'll do when we go out there. And if we can stay in the competition, you never know at a later date what might happen, but the reward is that the fans will get to watch, hopefully, on the television. And as a club, it's a massive club, and it's not exactly off the map, but it just brings us back into another light again that this club is rising.
Have a good evening on Monday.
Thank you very much.
Okay, that's it for the broadcast section now. So we're going to move on to David Charlesworth from the Press Association.
Hi there, Liam. You all right?
Hi, okay?
Yeah, just touching on what Moose said, just picking up from what he says. Obviously, the absence of fans maybe takes the sheen off a little bit for the players, but is it fair to say you won't be short of motivation anyway? No,
absolutely not. It's going to be the biggest game for the group of players that we've got here, and whether it be behind closed doors or in front of fans, the atmosphere obviously does add that little extra bit. But in terms of looking at standards that you set as an individual, this is the top of the game. This is the elite, and this is where the boys are going to be pushing to want to go with their own performances and their own careers. So to go and match yourself against the best that England has to offer, they've had a good start to their season, and we've had a great start to ours. So obviously it looks like a great fixture on paper as well. And who knows, cup upsets. I'd love to be involved in one, and we'll go out there and, like you say, we'll complete the job that the gaffer's asked of us to the best of our abilities, and hopefully, like you say, it'll cause West Ham problems and might even be enough on the day.
I mean, obviously, how do you channel that excitement? Because, I mean, the first 10 to 20 minutes could be crucial. Obviously, there'll be plenty of excitement at the start, but it's about making sure you stay in it and the game doesn't run away from you in those early stages.
As an experienced sort of player at the level that I've been at, we've actually brought in some really good experience for this level as well. So to mix the excitement and the energy that some of the boys will have, we've also got lads that will be sort of level-headed and be a voice in the changing room and out on the pitch to keep the shape right and to make sure, lads are still making those good decisions. And we've got a great mix. It's a good dressing room. I'm really glad, obviously, I'm happy to be involved with it, and that'll take you far as well. So, when it comes to the game, it'll be a case of, obviously, they're going to be that extra bit of quality. But it's for us to also show what we're capable of, and to sort of give the lads a bit of a free rein when they do get the ball, and when we do sort of play and link up, that we don't hide in our shells. And I'm pretty sure, looking at the lads over the last few days, that's not going to be the case, because like I said, they've been skipping around training and wanting to show what they're all about.
Lovely, thanks for your time. Cheers.
Okay. Sam Burns, Stockport Express.
Hi Liam, you okay?
Hi, okay?
Yeah, good, thanks mate. Just a few quick ones really. I suppose the main thing for me is how difficult has it been for the lads to adjust, really. Considering that County are going into 99% of the games this season as favourites, and the side that are expected to dictate possession and dictate play, and now you're the side that's going to be the underdog. How's that shift been for the players this week, do you think?
It's not sort of an ignorance of the squad, but I really believe that this squad has really got something in terms of individual abilities and when they play together. And it won't be a case that we'll obviously dismiss a club like West Ham because, like you say, the Premier League standard. But over the last few games, we've had some really good performances, albeit we haven't quite done it for the full match, which is the disappointing thing. But I think if we was to continue in the way that we have been progressing in terms of the way we've been moving the ball, the way we've been sort of ruthless in sometimes playing direct, but also sometimes playing through the lines and sort of giving teams different questions. We play different formations, and we haven't been a team that you could, identify from the outside as such because we've changed quite a little bit. And in terms, I think that will give us a benefit in our favour of setting up against us, of being able to sort of move out of your shape and play two different ways. So when obviously we come against them and we see what they're all about, understand they're going to have a lot of the ball. It might be that we sit on the counter attack. But like I said, we've got some great lads who will trust with the football as well as doing what we need to do to stay in the game as long as possible. And you just never know. We've had some bright starts where we've got them out really quick, but we've also shown that if we've been behind, we can also come back. So, like I said, there's a lot of belief in that changing room, and we won't just be leaving it down to luck.
Yeah, just a last one from me, I suppose. So you've mentioned the full side are going to have to be at the best to get a result, but as a captain and standing in the defence, is there a player that you're looking to perhaps give you a moment of magic on the night? Is it a John Rooney or a Connor Jennings? Is there one person that you look to and think they might give us a chance, a moment of magic, a screamer or something like that?
No, listen, the standard that we've brought in has obviously been a level up, and it's what you're going to need to obviously keep progressing through the leagues. But as I've mentioned already, we've had a great mix of the lads that have been here from a couple of past seasons ago that are really holding their own and sort of still improving themselves, and that's only going to lift the squad in general to a level that we need to be at. But obviously, John's magic, he does this week in, week out in training. Connor's been at an excellent level and shows signs in training of being unplayable. And you've got lads like Alex Reid, who's Richie Bennett, that's a massive goal scoring threat. So, like I said, we've got our strengths that they'll be analysing and sort of looking at, and it probably won't all just be one-sided traffic.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Liam.
Thank you.
Jamie Jackson, Guardian.
Hi, Liam. Do you, as a sort of player, this sort of game, would you get nervous, excited? How do you sort of, go into a match like this, which, is obviously, like you say, a big one for you?
In terms of myself, I'm quite a relaxed person when I'm off the field, and it's a bit more of an autopilot moment when obviously the old saying of crossing the white line, and it's sort of game mode, and it's pretty much not underestimating anybody that's any lower than the level that we're at, and not overestimating anybody that's any higher. So obviously we'll give respect to the fact that who they are, the Premier League side, and they're in the elite. So it'll be a really, really tough game. The boys will need to work hard together. It's not just all about individual performances, it's about the team as a whole. And we'll be under good instruction from the gaffer, and I think that like I said, the belief in the changing room, we've got a really good chance. When the draw came out, it was exciting, but at the same time, we actually think that spells in our games over the last few games that we can really cause them problems.
Thank you very much, and the best of luck.
Thank you.
Adam Lanigan, The Times.
Hi, Liam.
Hi, okay.
Yeah, good, thanks. Obviously, as a local lad, you'll probably remember Stockport as the league club, when you're a kid. What sort of motivating factor is it? I know obviously we're talking about the cup here, but what sort of motivating factor is it to get Stockport back in the Football League?
Oh, it's going to be massive. Already, the rebuild that we've got at the club isn't just, as I've mentioned, within the club itself. It's branched out into the community, and the community work that Mark Stott started to do with the takeover is obviously really important at this time that we're going through, the struggles that we're having. And for them, for when football is back and they can come into the stadiums to see the team performing again, to be pushing at the top of the league that we're in now, to look to get into the Football League and start climbing the ladder again. That's going to bring a lot of relief to the fans, the diehard fans that used to come and watch week in, week out, that can't get that little bit of release of watching the football coming down and feeling the atmosphere. And we as a group, the staff, and like I say, the club, want to keep the heritage as well as sort of trying to modernise to the new sort of part of the game that it is now, and progress this club going forward. And like you say, the seeds are in place at the minute, and we're part of it, that we're trying to make it grow.
Okay, thanks, Liam.
Thank you.
Gary Carter.
Hi, Liam, you all right?
Yeah, you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Can I take you back to the very start of your career, please? Because at this level, you get a few players sort of started at the top and have sort of come down. You're sort of the other way around, aren't you? I mean, what were your hopes and sort of aspirations at the start of Woodley and Halifax when you were coming through?
Yeah, it's funny, and I've said this in a few interviews. It's football's sometimes tells its own story a little bit of when players sort of score against opposing clubs that they used to play for and things like that. I've actually didn't realise until the time that I'd done sort of a full circle with starting at Woodley, which is obviously just down the road. And when I came back to this sort of way, I was living over in Liverpool, that it really brought memories back for myself. And just at the time you're at Woodley, you never think that this was where it's sort of going to be now. So it's been really important on my journey, playing at Woodley and getting the development that I have. I actually worked at the same time. I was working as a PE teacher, and football's not really a long career, especially if you don't sort of play at the top level as well, that you're going to need to find something else to do afterwards. And for me, having done qualifications and sort of work experience already, there's things that I can drip back into, whenever I need to. And I think it's been good for me because it's been tough, and there's been sort of not quite a straight road to where it is now. There's been different setbacks and different sort of challenges that you have to face of being part-time that really makes you grow as an individual, not just as a player. And obviously you see things in a little bit of a different way. So I think it's been a real good education. So
teaching's something you could go back into when football's done with for you?
Possibly, yeah. So it's another door. Like you say, you look now at things like, the mental health aspects of, when players, they just dedicate 100%, to the sport, and then they come out of it and they're not too sure where to go next. There's a bit of a crossroads, and it is a difficult time. But the way, obviously, that I've sort of done it, I can look around and see the little bits that I have branched out into and sort of, get that back a little bit and use those to maybe progress into, teaching or coaching or delivering, what I've learned as a football player from, bosses like Jim Gannon and, Graham Alexander and, people like that are, well sort of thought of in our sport. So I'm taking little bits from everybody, and then obviously I'm hoping that's going to make a better me in terms of what I can offer, if it's coaching academies or, first team players.
You mentioned before, obviously, you were part of the Salford City sort of rise to the Football League. How do Stockport and Salford compare in terms of clubs and the job in hand, I guess?
I mean, in terms of heritage and history, Stockport's firmly grounded and set, really. There's probably more that I need to learn. When I came here and I spoke to Jim, spoke to, people around the club, there's a lot of history to learn about the club. It's had some fantastic days. And yeah, obviously I had a slight, decline. And on the flip side thing now is that it looks like it's going to progress. And like I said, there's light again now at Stockport. And in terms of rebuilding, there's not such a rebuild in place. It's just more modernising to the new sort of technologies of the game and using, whatever we can to our best ability to push this club, because you can see refurbishments on the ground. They're still trying to keep sort of the heritage that's already here, and when you walk through, you still see all the names that played here previously. And when we're doing the analysis, Jim shows us clips from the Wembley days and further back than that. So it's a good learning curve for all the players that are coming here, and they'll take that. Obviously at Salford, it was more of a club that was sort of rose from the ashes, kind of like brought to like a phoenix The club changed completely, and they both sort of gone on a similar path now. You know, recruitment-wise, in terms of staff off the field, there's more faces around the club, and the professionalism and things like that goes up a notch. We've got some fantastic facilities there that, you know, that are pushing for top of League One and Championship, and us as players know that we can't take too much advantage of that, and we have to really get the hard work done in now.
And lastly for me, with it being West Ham, there was a time when West Ham were linked with a player called Hogan, wasn't there? How close did he come?
Well, you'd have to ask him. I'm not too sure. I just get the little family meals, the little family chats. There's not too much that's said about football. He does his thing and I do mine.
Right, so football's off limits between you both. Like, you do football for a job, you don't want to do it like 24/7 sort of thing.
Sometimes it's a bit of a, you know, when you go, I've got a daughter now and he's got a daughter, and it's sometimes you ask, how did you get on at the weekend? But, you know, they've lost, or how did you get on the win? It's sort of the similar answers, and it's good to obviously, like say, this time to be talking and finding out about things. And, but, you know, when we're together as a family, we're quite quiet in terms of we're low key and we just get on with things, and it's just nice to just share that family time in the moment, and football gets pushed to sort of one side.
Cheers, Liam. Thank you very much. Best of luck. Thank you.
Okay, Dave Crow for Green, Manchester Evening News.
Hi, Liam. Just the one from me. You mentioned your manager, Jim Gannon, there. Obviously, he played in some of the club's biggest games in the last sort of 20, 30 years. Has he given you any advice on handling this sort of occasion and what to expect from these sorts of games?
The build-up to this week's been really relaxed. Obviously, we had the game recently called off, which was obviously a disappointment, but it sort of then pushed everything towards now the West Ham game. At the time, we couldn't sort of fully focus because there was so many league games to play in between, and obviously that's massively important for us as a club for where we are now to get out of that league. So now the forefront is West Ham. The build-ups, obviously, we've got a couple more days left of training that will really gear towards the analysis and the sessions of, you know, how we're going to set up and things like that. But the gaffer's been really relaxed. Obviously, he's got some great experience and some great knowledge of what obviously he can bring to the group, and you know, hopefully on the day the hard work and the individual qualities will show, and we'll reap the rewards of sort of the coming together of the coaching and the performance.
Brilliant. Good luck. That's everything for me.
Thank you.
Just finally, David Richardson, non-league paper.
Hi, Liam. Thanks for your time. What's your FA Cup history been like, and what memories do you have of the competition in general?
Do you know what? In general, I actually spoke about it before the Chesterfield game. Before we actually got knocked out on penalties, and I'd said, I hadn't really had much of a run. A couple of second rounds, and I think we played Charlton in the second round when I was at Halifax, which was a big game at the time. They were top of League One. Other than that, no, this is the furthest I've been, and obviously to draw an a Premier League side is massive. It's exciting for the club, it's exciting for the community. And like I said, it's just a shame that they can't share on the day to come in the stadium, but we're going to show ourselves in the best possible way, you know, on the cameras and go and attack the game, really.
Yeah, and Mikel Antonio and Jared Bowen are two players in the West Ham squad who have had spells in non-league previously. It goes to show the potential at this level, and perhaps inspiration for maybe some of the Stockport squad to follow that path. Yeah,
and that's why it's an exciting time, and it's exciting that we've got buzz around the training, because there are individuals in the group that will be looking to kick on in their careers, and games like this is a massive sort of showcase to go out there and put your talents. There's going to be a bigger audience, you know, watching through the cameras, and us as a group, we're going to be reliant on the team performance rather than individuals, but individuals will shine on the day. And like I say, so long as we follow the scripts, follow the advice that we're going to be given and the setup, and we sort of do it to a man, like I said, we can cause West Ham problems. And the hard work, like I said, is something that we're going to relish and compete against sort of the elite, the Premier League, and go and see what difference there really is.
Yeah, cheers, Liam.
No problem.
Okay, that's it for Liam now, so we're going to let him go.
Brilliant.
So,
thank you.
We'll bring Jim Gannon onto the call now.
Thank you.
Cheers, Liam.
No problem.